Hi, this is Bird from Birds SVGs, and in this video we'll be putting together the Sailboat Shadow Box Light, and that's from the Picture Perfect SVG Collection. So during the day it's nice and white and it is a great piece of home decor, but at night it really comes into its own. You can back it with any electronic lights that you've got in your stash. Okay, we're going to start putting the box frame together first of all, and then we'll add our inserts and we'll close it off front and back afterwards. So you want your two end pieces that have got these tabs that are poking out on the sides. And we're going to be closing these up before we attach them to the top and bottom. So fold along all of your score lines, and then you've got one tab that's kind of cut off, the corners are cut away. So you want to add your glue. Just free my glue up a moment. And then you want to add your glue to that tab that's got the triangle corners on. Now you can roll the this kind of piece of box frame up, or you can push it down flat because it's square. So if you push it down flat, then you know the front edge of your tab is exactly on the score line where it needs to be, and it's easier to put some pressure against your desk too. So I'm just doing the same to my other piece, folding it flat, and then those two pieces are ready and we can attach them to our top and bottom. Again, we're going to fold along all of our score lines. And then we'll attach them to our side pieces before we roll them up into our box frames. But we want to make sure that the tabs that have got the cutaway sections are in the same place as our side pieces. So we want to make sure that the corners that need to miter and meet against each other are all on the underneath. So again, when I add this into place, I need to make sure that that cutaway section is on the same side as my side pieces. And when I connect these pieces together, I'm trying to make sure that my corners are very much at a right angle. So I'm trying to make sure that the edges of my top and bottom are lined up exactly on the score line of my side pieces there. So we've got nice 90-degree angles. Okay, so I've got my last side now. And again, I'm adding some glue to my tab, and I want to make sure that I've got my piece the right way up. So the bottom where the cutaway corners are is on the same side as the other three pieces. And I'll just fix my last tab. And I'm just pushing down against my desk. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over so I've got my base upwards. And I'm going to make sure that my mitered corners will meet up, but I've got a little bit of overhang on my sides, so I'm just adding some glue there and then just popping those pieces into place, and then it holds the frame nice and firmly and squarely for me to fix my my last two sides. So again, here you can see that little bit of overhang that sticks out for the base to fix onto. I'm just going to hold that for a moment, and then I can flip over and fix my last two sides into place. Okay, so you want to add some glue to your end tab. And just like the sides, we're kind of going to be rolling it. But the important thing here is to make sure, because we can't fold it flat like we did on the sides, we want to make sure that we get it exactly square. So the front edge is flush with where that back, the back piece was sticking out. So you can see here again, we're adding some glue to the end tab. And when we tuck that under, we want the front edge to meet up with where the back finishes. So I'm trying my best. This is the most difficult piece to get into place, and then it's all fine then. Because we need our insert pieces to fit in. So we need our frame to be nice and square. And there, we're all done. So the next step is we're going to pop our inserts into place. And we've got 2 layers that's going to go on the inside. They've got tabs on 3 sides, down the sides and along the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add glue to my bottom tab and then kind of use that as a lever. Because I figured if I put glue on all 3 sides, it might get a bit messy trying to slide it into place. So I flip my frame over and I'm placing that bottom tab that I've put glue on. I'm putting that at the bottom, and I'm making sure that the back of my tab is flush with the back edge of my frame, because this is my back layer, my back insert layer. And because I've glued the bottom, I can just bend the layer backwards, pop some glue on the side tabs, and then slide them into place, making sure that the back edge of those tabs are flush with the back of the box frame. And I'm just making sure that the glue's properly taken hold. And then I can move on to my next layer. Now the tab on this front layer is ever so small on the left side there. So I'm adding glue to that left tab and the bottom this time. And I'm adding it in from the front. But I don't want it front with the flush with the front of my box. I actually want the back edges of my tabs to butt up against that back insert. So I basically want a gap between the acetate that's going to go on the front of my shadow box. I want a gap between that and the first layer. So now I can bend that piece over, add some glue to the side tab, pop that in and make sure that the back edge of that tab is butting up against my back layer, my back insert layer. Okay, so that's the inserts done. Now we're going to move on to the back of the box, and we're closing this off with a piece of vellum. Now this, I sized this light box to be 8 inches by 11 inches. That way it's covered by the US letter size and international A4 size, because I figured not everybody may be able to source 12 by 12 vellum. So I've made this 8 inches by 11 inches. So once you've got your vellum layer in place, there's an extra frame that goes on and covers up all your workings and finishes it off nicely. And then here are your 2 stands. So you've got one for each corner, and that way they're not visible through the vellum, and also they won't get in the way of any of your electronic lights that you place behind your light box. So you've got plenty of room there if you wanted to put a couple of tea lights or a couple of pillar candles or whatever you want to place back there. There's loads of room, because these hide behind the frame of the box. So I'm just folding them in half and adding glue to one half and popping it right on to the corner. Okay, now we're ready to close up the front of the box. So you want to make sure that you've got nothing loose in there, no specks of glue or card or anything like that. So I'm just making sure that there's nothing in there that shouldn't be, because once we've closed it off, that's it. It's all nice and sealed. Just adding some glue, trying to make sure not to go too close to the inside edge, because I'm going to add some acetate, and you know how glue spreads under acetate. It's a little bit tricky to see, although you can see the glare of my light there in the acetate. But I've just tapped that into place. I'm not pushing down too hard on that. And then I've got this last piece to go on the front. And what I did was, because my light box is all white, I picked a different texture for this last layer to go on the front. It was actually called Pebbles, a Pebbles effect. So I thought that would be quite appropriate. And that's it. That's the last piece to go into place. So I think this makes a great piece of home decor for yourself. But obviously it would make a great gift for friends or family too. And it's really ever so easy to make, and the effect is really quite effective. It looks really decorative during the day, and you do get a bit of a light effect if you put it in a window during the day with the light behind it. But if you've got it on a shelf like I have, that's how it looks during the day, and then at light it really comes into its own. Just place any light behind it, and then you get that graduated shadow look between the different layers. And I hope you really enjoy making it, and also enjoy giving it as a gift too.